What's up, Brave Hearts community? This is Sean Heineman, your premier pre-engagement coach, back with another segment of It's Scary to Remarry, inspiring you to love fearlessly. In the building, she's back. My
Woo,
co
woo, 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 woo.
Aquila Maddox. What's up, Q? How you doing?
I'm doing good, and it's a pleasure to be back. It is a pleasure. How are you doing, Sean? How's everybody? First of all, y'all, we was out, and then y'all, part of the celebration was Sean's wife had her birthday, and I'm all about being grateful for another year.
Yeah.
How was the celebration, Sean?
Oh, we were vending.
But y'all still did. That's what you did for the birthday.
Well, I mean, that's the way the cards fell this year. We were vending.
Got you.
But she wanted to chill. She wanted to be alone. She wanted, no spouse, no kids. She was like, "Hey, I need some space in this place," that whole thing. So I was like, "Mama, I ain't mad at you." She just wanted to chill.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Ain't
saying?
nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong. And thank you for being the husband who allowed that moment for her to take space, outside of the hats, because she's a whole human, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
prior to the hat. So that's what's up. That's a phenomenal celebration. You know what I'm saying? Still being able to just have space, and the freedom to have that space. I think that's a wonderful gift in and of itself. That's what's up. So I too came back a year older in this season, y'all. And so I'm excited for my own personal new year as well. My daughter had a new year, y'all, on June 7th. I'm June 1st. So listen, y'all just know. And then I'm excited because our guest today is also Team Gemini. So y'all can talk crazy in the comments all y'all want because y'all don't understand Gemini, and it's fine. It's evident. We're not going to debate that today. Amen. Amen. So
Amen.
let's get into it.
Amen. Well, let's get into today's topic. We're going to discuss dating in your 40s. This is my demographic for the whole platform is usually 35 to 45, that kind of age range, maybe 45, 48. So this is for you all. And our special guest, let me tell you a little bit about our special guest. Today's guest is a Navy veteran, a social worker by day, and a social media influencer by night, who curates chaos one post at a time. She is originally from North Carolina, but calls Alexandria, Virginia her home. She enjoys writing, yoga, karaoke, a good psychological thriller, and making playlists. She has been a lifestyle influencer since 2023. She talks about mental health, identity, culture, and relationships. Her daily goal is to inspire, educate, and connect with women 40 and up. She is currently working on a book of essays entitled Being Social, The Psychology of Social Media. And she says her parents adorned our coffee table with Ebony and Jet magazines and books by MLK and W.E.B. Du Bois to instill a sense of black pride in me. Still, it took years for me to become assured in my blackness. Bravehearts community, let's show some love to Blair Channing Rae. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, guys. I'm so happy to be here. And especially with everyone back from vacation and well rested. So this is going to be real cool.
I'm
Yes,
excited.
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Dating in your 40s. I mean, I remarried.
Scary.
It's scary.
It is scary. No one tells you you're going to be doing this at 40. Come on now.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. However, I do have a question to ask you.
hmm
You inspire women 40 and up. How has dating changed for you personally now that you're in your 40s?
Well, um, dating has changed because this word called situationships has taken it to a whole nother level. Like 15 years ago, dating, coming out of a, very healthy relationship, but because I had some commitment issues of my own that I can own today, and going back into it was easy for me to see how my attachment style lured me to certain partners and who also happened to be commitment phobic. And but back in the day, you didn't really you could say commitment phobic and you could say, well, let's see how this goes. We just want to see where this goes now. There's none of that. They're gonna tell you straight up. yeah, this isn't going anywhere. This is what I want right now. And if you're down, you can let me know. And if you're not, well, there's someone around the corner who probably will be. Because the thing about the big difference in the dating game has been the dating apps. I think it gives unlimited options. And in our minds, it's like, oh, it's limitless. Who cares if she doesn't act right? Who cares if he wants to cut up? I can go online and do, 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 do. And when you're thinking like that, it really impedes the game, guys.
Mm,
Love doesn't stand a chance when you think there's something better on the other side. So it's about returning to, I think, ourselves.
yeah.
You know, why do we keep looking for something quote unquote better?
Mm.
And
I,
I think, but
I want to backtrack real quick, Aquila, because you said something, Blair, that was really interesting. You said a lot of people kind of say what they want up front, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what most people say that they want? Just be honest with me. Tell me what I want up front, so that way I know how to deal with you. So do you find that problematic or no?
I don't find it problematic at all. I find it problematic in the fact of how we respond
Mm,
to what the person is telling us. Because when someone says, okay, you want a relationship, they don't want a relationship. So when they tell you, when someone who has a secure, healthy attachment style, when that person tells you, hey, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, you don't take it as a challenge. Oh, I'll step up. I'll make him change his mind. No, someone who has a secure, healthy attachment style says, okay, there's nothing else for us to talk about. Like, is there really anything to talk about when those two you have opposing goals? So
mhm.
why are we still talking? I think that's where it falls um into the whole ego of, yeah, I'm gonna change his mind. It's a challenge. Or for guys too, like, she doesn't mean that. I'm gonna win her over. you
Mhm.
know no, when a person is being straight up honest with you, you have to respect honesty above all else. And if you can't respect someone else's honesty, you're gonna have a problem accepting your own honesty. Can't get real with yourself if you can't be real with someone else.
Got you. What you
so the comment, I had two comments now, but
Mm-hmm.
that comment, to comment or a thought process I have around what you're saying is I do agree, like you said, the honesty. But I heard this lady say, and I think it's so real. And depending on the season, I probably didn't want to hear what. Just being honest, I didn't probably want to hear it.
Yeah,
But I heard this woman say, if you are not in a position to be rejected, you're not healed enough to date.
correct.
And I remember hearing that and I 100% agreed, but I remember being in a season where I was like, I'm not healed enough to date and I still don't want to receive rejection. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't want to not be somebody's choice is basically what that implies, right? Because you don't want the feelings that come with like, well, dang, what am I, what did I not do? And I think too oftentimes, I'm a Bible girl, so the Bible says to not see ourselves higher than we ought to. I think sometimes we are seeing ourselves a little too high because we are seeing ourselves as a possibility for every person that we're talking to
The
instead
ego.
of recognizing that no, you really may not be this person's best choice. Not because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking, but we're gonna go back to that shopping energy you was talking about it a minute ago. Okay, we not that's a whole nother conversation. Okay. We're talking about people who are intentionally set out to find a partner and whatever relationship connection that they have a desire for. They
Yeah.
intentionally move in that direction and they have an idea about what doesn't work for them and giving them the permission and freedom to say, it ain't you. You
Mm,
know what I mean? And I think that's very mature. I think that is a reflection of healing. And that's how we get to that healthy attachment style that you were just speaking about that allows people to make those decisions and you not challenge that. You're like, okay, no, I recognize I'm not the best, you know what I'm saying, person for you. Because in real life, in my life, I would do the same. As I get to know people and I'm like, you know what, I realize we were probably a yes, strong, whatever amount of consistent time. And when we got
Mm-hmm.
to a place that we're no longer a yes, I got to go about face and make a different decision. It's not, everything isn't personal. Some things are purposeful. And if this isn't purposeful in our connection, what are we doing?
What
So
did
that,
Megan say? Sometimes you got to pivot.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything absolutely wrong with that. And yes, upfront is great. What I do find challenge with is that some people don't want to do upfront. There was a time frame where in life you could date and say, we're just gonna go along and see what this we have an idea that we want the same thing, but we're gonna go with the flow and see how this goes. Yet again, getting to what I just talked about, getting to that
Mm-hmm.
place that you see if it ain't a yes no more, we pivot, right? But I find that in over 40 as well, I find that people, some of the guys be out here struggling with being clear on their intentions. It's almost as if, like, if they say, I want to be in a relationship, they feel like a woman is going to start doing all these things that just began to look very negative to them. I've had a couple of dating experiences like that where I'm like, well, what are you looking for? I just like to go with the flow because I feel like when you tell a woman you want to date, she started doing. I'm like, she started doing what?
Don't
Because
you
she's
think that's lame though?
weird. It's weird.
Okay.
It's weird.
So that's low effort energy right there. So
Yeah,
why don't we stop then?
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I'm all
Yeah.
over it like why don't rice in a polar bear in a snowstorm. I'm just saying like that's some of the things that has changed. Because back in the day, people were way more intentional to me and were
Mhm.
okay with saying, yes, I want this. No, I don't want this. You see what I'm saying? Now it's like some people are setting you up for a situationship. Oh, not I said the bear, but I'm just saying some folks is being set up because you're doing exactly what works for just them. Just
Yeah.
just them. You
What do
see,
you think about vetting questions? Like, do you think that's a great way to weed out, or are you more so, let's wait to the second or third date?
say that again.
Vetting questions. Because for me, we're not even going out unless you can answer like 1 through 10. My time is very valuable to me.
Do you understand? Because it is.
Okay.
And it's non-refundable, non-returnable, no
Okay.
changes. Okay. Oh, I got you, Abby. That's my point. Because I'm not kidding. Some ladies, I would say the same. How did you get out there in a date? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got you. But I'm
Open
saying
my mind.
but it's still met by way of talking or not. I've met people who, why you come over here with that? Why? Because I was minding my own self business on this app and all my intentions are stated. When I do date now, so let's go back to shopping energy. You talked about, people. We had a guest one time, Sean, that talked about how there's a lot of false realities out there when it comes to stuff like that. Because a person, and I'm with it, because I believe this. I'm like, some of y'all think because she responded that you had a real chance. You see what I'm saying? And so because you thought you had a real chance, you think you got real options, but baby, you don't. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Some people don't, and that's a reality too. So back to thinking of yourself higher than you are too.
I mean, we gotta drop the egos.
We don't always, but again, be intentional. But some of this is stuff that people would never get in real life. Some of this attention some people wouldn't get in real life. So they're definitely sucking it up as an opportunity to say, man, I got all these men or whatever that's out here checking for me. No,
Blame
girl.
social media.
Do you, huh?
Blame social media.
That's what I'm saying. But listen, Linda, nobody got time for this, okay? Like, girl, so anyway, I'm excited. Listen, I got a question because you hit some things already heavy hitting coming out the door. You know what I'm saying? What are some myths people believe about dating after 40 that you have found to be completely untrue?
Well, myths that we have it all together.
Baby, come on.
Okay, that's the number one myth because we don't go with manuals, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so you don't get, first of all, I don't even think people get interesting until after age 35. So
Ooh. Can,
you
can you
covered
explain on that real quick? Real quick. Stop. Stop.
35. Come on now.
35.
because what
Let's
do
park there
you
and talk about it.
know really before 35-ish, 40-ish that could persuade me to say, ooh, she's been through something. And I'm not saying people don't go through a lot, but like to turn it into some Oprah like Tyler Perry made for television movie, Yeah, you need to be 35, 40-ish. And people think that when you get to this magic age that, oh yeah, I've met people who go, well, I dated them because they were older and I thought that they had it together. Oh, well, that's nice. Too bad that doesn't come with the age package.
Ooh, she said 35.
You
Now,
did. You said
I'm
35.
I'm not mad at you at all because and this is quite interesting because I realize when I post content about being dating at 35 and over,
Hmm.
I mean, go everything goes through the
They
roof.
don't come for you, do they?
No, they don't. It's just that I'm saying as far as like the engagement,
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
views, like thousands and thousands of views when I do post on dating at 35 and over. So it's like a lot of
Pressure.
people, they really like, and I don't know exactly what it is about age 35. Can somebody help me? I don't know, but it seemed like a lot of people like, is it maybe because the average lifespan is maybe,
You cut out. What'd you say? It seems like what?
I was saying, can y'all hear me?
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying I didn't know about what is this thing about age 35 that people believe, I guess this myth that people should have it together at 35. Is it because maybe the life expectancy is maybe like half of that?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
I think that a lot of it is generational because if you look at Gen Z, these kids, okay, 35 is a joke, right? For like my generation, Gen X, it was all about power couples, boomers, and being, oh yeah, we're gonna be the Michelle and Barack Obama and millennials, like next thing, power couple. We got this. And for these Gen Z people, yeah, like they can't even still pay rent at 35. They're not thinking power couples, putting eggs on layaway because they know that they're gonna. Okay, it's just there's a lot that 35 is different for Gen Z than it was for millennials and Gen X. You guys agree with that?
I would agree.
I
Okay.
agree. I agree. I just think that especially in this day and age in this economy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
do you think that maybe even like living home with your mom is that acceptable by today's
I,
standards because
I
people
do
can't live
think
on their own?
I think Gen Z has changed and made a lot of things acceptable. I have a 37-year-old cousin who lives at home and we don't see anything wrong with he dates and well he lives above the garage, but I mean still my thing is this. That couldn't have happened in my day and age. We would have been like, oh, what you doing still living at your mom? No, what?
Yeah, too.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So I think that generally changes things and like women putting their eggs away for later, that's very much a real thing. I am, I didn't have a lot of friends in that age bracket putting freezing eggs or even dealing with a lot of infertility. But now, as our careers span and lives get longer, we're doing those things. I think Gen Z has absolutely changed the game. So when the myth of, oh, you've got it all together at this age, no, baby, you better change that real quick because that is, I find, to be the biggest myth. If anything, your debt is bigger than ever at this age. And that's why you really got to be smart about who you're dating because money management is a big it's a deal breaker for me.
Especially because historically, the conversation of, nobody taught us how to handle money, or a lot of people
Right.
didn't learn, right? Well,
Mhm.
there's you learn the repercussions of that. In this, to me, our generation sees and learns the repercussions of that. Are
So
people
true.
making phenomenal strides? Honestly, yes. Has some people redeemed the time in in their lineage to be able to say, I've done this. I've purchased a home. I've bought land. I'm changing the trajectory of my family name and my
Mhm.
financial state and stuff like that. Absolutely. So don't be out here, y'all, in the comments and whatnot, acting like I'm saying everybody broke the poor because that's not what I said. Okay. But meanwhile, what I'm saying and in agreement with our lovely guest today is that um, the truth of the matter is that you get to this place here and you really learn that there's some things, because I mean, even for myself, I'm very honest. I'll share, very, very honest. Okay. So I was telling, in one of our shows, I told him, like, I literally began to change the trajectory of my finances, but there's things that impacted that. I went through depression for almost 4 years after a sister committed suicide. Never even knew I was depressive, capable or anything like that. So I forewent like all of my responsibilities. Survival was the name of the game. And there are so many people who just might not be as open and honest about that as I am, to be able to say, but here's where I'm at, right? And so the truth is, like you stated, I've met plenty of people who are like, I'm still working on this, or this is where I'm at, and stuff like that. So I do agree that we have to be a little bit more open in our expectations. Not necessarily saying there's anything wrong with having standards, because we had a phenomenal guest who talked money and relationships. And she was like, honey, I got my man money together. We got money, money, money everywhere, and she was just so inspirational. But at the same time, stating that her man they came into relationship and community. He didn't have the same knowledge and awareness around the conversation of money that she had, because it's her lane.
Yeah.
It's her lane. But he trusted her. Again, being fruitful and multiplying is the name of the game to me. So that's why it goes back to, again, if we're not coming together, being purposeful, this isn't personal, it's purposeful. If we're not purposeful, we have to afford, because I need us to be able to, if you got the money sense and you tell me, hey, Queel, I need you to invest over here, do this,
Yeah.
I want to do it. But if I got it and you don't, and everybody's out here, every man for himself, and you can't tell me what to do and all this other stuff, and we're not able to come together, then, again, that's why it's important to know where are you trying to go? What are we doing? Like you said, all those questions that kind of put people in a position to where already at the door where this person stands on certain very important matters. But I agree. So anyone else, do you have any other thing that there's a myth? Because that's a good one. That having it all together, 35 plus, y'all, may not be the facts of life. Some people are getting it together at 35. Some people are getting it together at 40. Some people are getting it, and I've met some people together at 50, because they have the revelation, they have the maturity, they have the discipline now, and they're able to actually carry out something and maintain it differently. They're more stable and settled in their innards. Okay, so that's it changes.
Spiritually grounded.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's important. The only other myth that I can think of, and again, I like to cross over these generations because we're all out here dating. The myth for me is people think that if you grow up in a certain environment, it means that you come prepared with certain things. I'm like, we as Black people, we come from all walks of life. So you can't say, like, you can say, but like by a certain age, oh, you should have learned this, you should have learned that. Everybody didn't get the same home training, baby. And when you're talking about marriage, and I mean, we're talking about interim, we're bringing two lives together. If your mama raised you not to be a good money manager and say this man's father did, then that's gonna be rocky road for marriage. And you coming into it thinking that, well, what's mine is mine, what's his is his. No, the finances, our finances are all different, and believe it or not, we don't all have it at this age. So I don't know if that goes back to thinking that we all have it together, but I think those backgrounds, which one, I always say, which one is more important, shared interests or shared values?
That's good.
Baby, because that's a no-brainer to me.
Which one is it for you?
Shared value.
Okay, thank you. Because interests can be learned.
Honey, I can learn the interest. You ain't telling no story, honey. What you want to do? Underwater basket weave? I think I could like that. Shoot. I think I could like that. I might, this might not be too bad with this oxygen tank on my back. You know what I mean? Like, but if we ain't got the same value, we can count it out. Amen. We can count it out.
Yeah, because some things we could just grow into together over time. The only problem is
you might like underwater basket weave.
But the second marriages are the ones that they're saying are higher in divorce rates. And with these, you not having that, I won't say it's home training or home conditioning, but there's something that's got to come together. If not, you're looking at another divorce. And that's why I'm scared to remarry, right, Sean?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And one thing I realized is that most relationships struggle, especially with newlyweds. That first year is tough because we're trying to learn, we're trying to unlearn the way
Mm-hmm.
we grew up,
Mm-hmm.
bringing that under one household. Because it's like, okay, so who's more important? Is it because you had two parents in your household? And so that means that we supposed to have our family the way you were raised, or maybe because your
Ooh.
mother made $175,000 a year and y'all grew up in a single parent home. So that means that, you know, oh, this is how we supposed to live, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of couples struggle, that family of origin, where they trying to mix everything together. And then it's like, what's more important? The family you come from or the family that you're trying to
Trying
build?
to build. Yeah.
And that makes the
That's
difference.
good.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
want
good.
that patented.
But that's also, Sean, something that again comes in time and maturity. Like some people don't even come to understand and think about those concepts, even if they never heard it in their family life at all or considered it because of where they, what information they lack. That sometimes come with maturity. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
Walk of
maturity
life
isn't, huh?
and walk of life.
What I'm saying,
Like,
but
yeah.
and maturity, y'all, isn't just your ability to consume and know all the information. That's not mature. That's a knowledgeable person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maturity is even being able to say, you know what, I really don't know how to win here. Let me go and listen. Let me go and learn from somebody. I'm not really good at this. Let me make sure that we bring an inside, outside party to do work on this inside dynamic that we both value. Because so maturity is also just like when you consider my car. I'm mature enough to know that I'm not gonna go out there just to save a couple dollars and try to, what I'm saying, replace my own engine or something. Maturity is being able to say, nope, this is beyond my scope. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? But unfortunately, we have associated maturity and being an adult with knowing everything, having everything, not needing anybody, and all of those things. That is not true.
I agree. Yeah, because I believe God just made us interdependent, not independent, right?
You better know it.
And for some times, people is just like, we like to be these lone rangers for some odd reason. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's cool
I
until
feel
you
so
get into your
attacked.
50s. Huh?
Huh?
I feel so attacked. So
Go ahead. We ready for you, Miss Williams. It's all about the love all ends and stuff. Let's go.
I see it both ways. Like I'm an ambivert. Some moments, I'm in there like, yeah, yeah. Some days I'm like, I'm not peopling today. And it's not because I don't want to be bothered. It's not because I'm hating anyone. I just want my solitude.
But
And
that's not what we're talking about because I'm an ambivert. That's not what we talk
okay.
about.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Interdependent meaning we need each other.
Oh yeah, well, definitely. But social
And
media,
needing each other doesn't mean being dependent and you are unable to take care of any parts of your life on your own. We ain't talking about that.
don't you think social media has it's changed things
Yes.
I would
because
agree, but elaborate.
between being parasocial and interdependent, how how much do we really need people? I have you right here. Like if I live alone. So if I say, well, I've had my time today, I'm good. This to me is this interaction, this interdependence. This is good for me. But
Absolutely.
tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing on social media. I think that there's more that goes on. Social media, of course, just a microcosm of society. We know this, but y'all, I really think it's done a number on mental health and it's really changed the way that we interact because now I don't know if a man is flirting with me. If he's online and he's flirting with me, I know. But out in the open, in the wild, oh shoot, this man was laughing with me, having a joyous time, and it didn't dawn on me until later that he was flirting with me because he didn't hit a like first, or he didn't send me a rose, or it's just
I just think that's such a good, go ahead, Sean, but I do think that that's a good observation to make and great self-awareness. I just wanted to give you some kudos for that. I mean, because some people don't realize that those things help, hinder and affect our distinction. I just think that was a great observation of yourself.
thank you.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being by yourself and look, as my old pastor would always say, don't sacrifice your peace for Pookie. Like you don't you're single and
Ooh,
you're not in a relationship with anybody. Look, when you go to bed, everybody goes to bed. When
yes.
you eat, everybody eat.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? When you mad, everybody mad. So being by yourself is a beautiful thing. Being single, and don't get me wrong, because I know a lot of singles, they're like, I want to get married and stuff like that. But the beautiful thing about being single is you could just cut people off and you be like, hey, I'm done for today, or I don't feel like peopling today. And that's okay. So no, so shout out
But
to
Sean got a
single people.
limit on how many days he can show up like that. You can't show
What's
up.
your limit?
He can't. He got a limit. No, 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 no. He has a limit because he has responsibilities. He has a marriage. He has a
Okay,
relationship
okay, okay.
dynamic that thrives
You're
on.
single too?
Yes, I am. I'm single and dating.
Okay.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
to one.
I'm divorced, so but I've been in the same situation, of course. Where you ain't the option isn't there. You signed up to take that option off the table. That's what marriage is. I signed up to do peopling when I don't feel like doing peopling. I signed up to sacrifice my
Wow.
alone time at times.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? When I don't want to sacrifice my alone time, I signed up for that, right? And so I would love to sign up for that again, but I do have a deep appreciation for just the relevance of the conversation because I see people be like, Aquila, why are you single? I'm like, you guys have no idea the challenge that exists today that did not exist historically. And I would agree with you that there was a season after I've been divorced 13 years, and you can say, well, there's something wrong with you. Good luck with that, you guys. Do research. There was something wrong with me at a time. And I remember dating and in those places being like some of the men, like, hey, I'm dating because I need male energy, but I'm
Mhm.
aware that my heart is not in any place
Yeah.
turn this into an intimate connection and men having a hard time with that, right? Because I was also going to look like a duck, quack like a duck, and be a duck. And you're expecting me to be a cow because you thought I was going to change up my actions or behaviors or expectations. And I'm not because I mean that. So then that season entered in my life again when I was mourning the death of my sister and following my dad died 8 months after. So
That's
when I
tough.
was in that season, thank you. When I was in that season, I still wanted male energy because I am a girl. Okay.
Yeah.
And I like a boy. Okay. It's simple math for me. I love a man,
I
and
love male energy too. Yeah.
you understand? And I wanted to
Mhm.
be able to have a man. I was dating at the time, but before I started dating, I was actually like on the app already. So then I started getting, I took a pause, wasn't even listening, paying attention to the app. Well, once I got into a place where I wanted to just have male energy, yet again, I clearly stated, but my profile also stated in in a place where I'm not able to do, intimate connection. If you're looking for more, you want to go on and swipe because that's not what I'm looking for, and I'm not looking for casual encounters. I just wanted to have male energy. I wanted to go, and I remember one of my dates, I snuck and paid for the bill while he went to the bathroom because I wasn't here for his money. I'm not here to use you. I'm not here, and it was only drinks and appetizers. But my point is I was not. I just wanted the conversation, and
Yeah.
I got it. And we had in-person interaction. We laughed a little bit. It was a nice break from the mental sadness that I was constantly experiencing and feeling. So it was appreciation, and I paid the bill. So that wasn't. And when he came back, he was like, "I ain't never had a woman pay a bill for me." I said, "Well, I
That's classy.
yeah." He was like, "I never, thank you." He was like, "I never." He's like, I said, well, I just really wanted you to know I appreciated you sharing your time today. And just like I feel like my time is valuable, so is yours. He didn't come into it with any expectation for anything to grow, but he left with it. And he was like, Aquila, I'm not going to be able to like have these moments where we just get together every once in a while because I can already see I like the kind of person you are. And I told him, I appreciate your honesty. Well, this is our last date because I wasn't in a place. I don't even know when I'm going to call you again because, again, it was just really. So, my point is that I had some places in life, but I've also had maturing to do, right? So certain things we talked about, those attachment styles, blah, 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 right? But at some point we got to this place where no matter how much work I've done, how much therapy I've been in, how many conversations I've had with telling me I'm wrong and I need to admit that I'm my fault, it doesn't matter now. Because like we just talked about, it's so many things that have changed significantly in the dating space. It, it's just the truth of the matter. It doesn't matter how many times I pay for dinner for you and show you I'm not about your money. It doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter if I'm, you know what I mean? I'm not expecting you to be daddy to my kids. It doesn't matter. It's now, it's like you said, it's this, everybody's got options. They got shopping energy. They're trying to figure out their goals.
Mm-hmm.
And all this other stuff. And some of this, I'm not knocking nobody because some of them had relationship experiences that probably landed them there. But the moral of the story is, can you not be trying to sign up to be with the people that does not align with where you're trying to go?
Amen to that.
Can
Amen.
you find another therapist before you find another situationship?
Well, if you're going to step on the people's toes like that, y'all, but y'all some get those steel toe boots on because this is coming.
Well,
Okay. Where my question's at?
that's good. And I talked about that the other day. I said before you jump into a relationship, before you jump into another
Yeah.
situation, go date a therapist. Go talk to a therapist first before you jump on another date.
It's just common sense to do that though, because all you do is hurt people, hurt other people.
And confuse people, confuse people.
Oh,
Reach, yeah.
and I don't want to be bitter.
And that's why I quit things. That's why I quit certain relationships as I learn what they are, even if we
Yeah.
started out on the same path. Because I tell people, I actually had a guy tell me, Aquila, because he came into the fold, and then he realized how he was like, yeah, I messed up, I'm in Aquila, and I was because I told him, okay, we can't date. We're not, we're clearly not going the same path. So we stopped. But she circled back, and he was a cool dude though. But he circled back and he was just checking. How you doing? Good? You good? I said, yeah, I'm good. So,
Submarine in you, huh?
uh,
Submarine in you. That's
but
our submarine.
no,
Oh,
you
you
don't,
didn't get
you
that.
normally don't get to circle back. But he was a cool person, so
Okay,
he
okay.
reached out and he was just like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I said, "I'm good." He said he was thinking. He's like, "Aquila, I think it's phenomenal that because we had talked about our personal experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, I think it's phenomenal that you still have a heart for Black men and men at all."
Wow. Wow.
That's real.
Girl.
I was
Hey,
like,
we need him
that was
for
such
some
a big
mahogany
compliment.
cards.
That was such a black. What'd you say?
We need him for some mahogany cards.
I know, right? But it was great though. It was such a huge compliment because for
It
one,
really is.
I think of it, but I didn't think of that. But I do tell people all the time, I intercede on behalf of my desire to love. That's the reason why certain people I have to say no to, because it'll start to build a bitterness or resentment in me. And then all of a sudden, but because I do want to love men, all
Mm-hmm.
right, I'm as much as I love a woman, amen, I just want her to be platonic for me.
Yeah.
So I want to still love a man romantically. And I personally want to love a Black man for me personally. Um, but I just thought that was a really dope observation for him to say, like, the fact, because I do still get very excited about a man. You know what I mean? Like I've never been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I've never been disappointed. Like I've never, you know what I'm saying, felt like I've been tricked or whatever. But so he was like, for you to be able to show up like that, I just wanted to, kudos and tell you that's pretty dope.
So many women don't.
True
So many
story.
women
And
don't.
then they never want to date again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the sad thing about it is that I see so many, Black men talk bad about Black women, and I'm just thinking like, man, we've all had bad experience with the opposite sex, but I'm like, I would not be where I am today without a Black woman. Whether out, and I ain't even talking about my mama or my sister. I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
just other women, and I ain't even talking about intimate. I'm talking about just Black women in general. That's how powerful Black women are. And I was just like, man, for a lot of brothers to down talk because you had a bad experience or two about Black women, I was like, man,
I
that's
think that infighting will be our demise. And I'm not attacking Black men or Black women. I think we are both at fault for this
Agreed.
because the infighting is a constant. If it's not the Black man coming at the Black woman for this offense, it's the Black woman, oh, you not, that offense. And I swear to God, if I see any mothers on my feed talking about a happy Father's Day, I was raised by a Black man. You will never find me disrespecting a Black father's position in the household with this. Oh, I did both. No, 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 no.
Blair
But
can come back any day. Blair can come back any day, honey. Just so you know, Shine. But Blair can come back in this group any day. Because I'm with you on that, sister.
Yeah,
Do
it's
not
the
do it.
infighting. It's the
Yeah.
infighting. That's what's gonna get us.
yeah. That is so good. Yeah, because I know that's the thing. Father's Day come and mamas
Y'all know
get
what I'm
like,
talking about.
yeah, I already know.
I'm gonna go off on you. You send it to me.
I already know. Blair, you often talk about mental health. How important is emotional stability when dating in your 40s versus
Well, let's see. How much time you got?
you got a couple minutes.
Mental health. I think it's the pressures of society that the biggest thing as far as mental health and dating. And of course we're talking about we're interacting, all this intersectionality that we're dealing with. And the hardest thing I think about mental health and dating, specifically for me, and I'll share this much, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at age 34.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, and I can't even believe I'm saying this at that time, but mental health was a taboo topic.
Yeah.
You couldn't be on the second or third day talking about, oh yeah, by the way, boo, I'm kind of like bisexual, no, bipolar. And that was a big deal. Now it's not so much taboo anymore. But at the same time, I think a lot of people just don't know how to deal. I mean, you got to think about it. We're dealing with personalities left and right. You throw in an invisible disability, whether it's MS or bipolar, you're going to have some issues. So I find that in dating and with mental health, it's about being honest with yourself, being that you are your own brand. You are the face of your brand. So bring honesty when you're talking about these, and whether it's anxiety, bipolar disorder, dealing with older parents, our children, all of those they come into play with our mental health. So I talk about it because too, as a community, we're there. And I want to give a shout out to Taraji P. Henson for what she's done in the community, as well as the NBA organization for bringing mental health front and center in our community. But we got to do more. For certain places, it's more reputable to say, yeah, I have a jail record than to say you've been locked up in the mental ward. That's not right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're one and the same. And most of the time, people who are locked up deal with mental health issues.
Yeah.
I could go on, but yeah.
No, I agree. And that's a conversation because I was talking to a lady the other day and she was saying, a matter of fact, she's going to be a guest on the show in the future. But she wanted to talk about being neurodivergent and dating and
Yeah.
and people not knowing, right? Some people not knowing, like, oh, I didn't know I had ADHD or I didn't know I had, autism, or like some people just don't know. And
Yeah.
so you go through life and all of a sudden this is like, okay, well, I was talking to a therapist or, psychologist and boom, you know. And so I think about how many people might not be aware being
Especially because
neurodivergent.
those weren't things always discussed. Remember that. Because you know that, so that's the both sides of the coin. when those labels came out, a lot of people were like, yeah, we had that when we was growing up. You see what?
Yes. Yeah.
A
So
lot of people were like, nah, ain't no wrong with them kids, ain't no wrong with them people because all they needed was this because when we didn't have that growing up and we was busy and we was this and we was that. Well, not only was that applicable to our children,
mhm.
meaning that those conversations apply to our children, but it's also still in relation to the actual adult itself
Right.
because it was the same, because it also didn't exist or wasn't necessarily a conversation, I should say, that was being, or even a discovery that happened prior. So that same thing is a reality as it pertains to adults because it wasn't a conversation or a discovery or what have you for the and now applied to children. It can still be applied, like you say, to adults. And I think some adults are actually coming to that. And here's what I think is also very important. We don't all know how to handle that stuff, how to look for it, how to identify it, how to support it, how to do life with it, how not to trigger if there's a possibility at all. You know what I mean? In certain intentional ways of doing life with that person. We don't know. So you get with a person who has ADHD and you're like, whatever a complaint would be, you know what I mean, that comes with that for the partner. Let's say that is, they're always they're always busy and they're never home or something because they're really just in alignment with what's going on in their brain. They gotta constantly
Yeah.
be doing stuff. So now as a partner, like how do you do community with that kind of person is what I'm saying. With that, how do you do community where you're not necessarily suffering or taking it personal? And how does that person work through dealing with it so that they can actually be able to be present the way they need to be present? We're still in the I want to say we're still in the discovery place of how you do life with that as grown people today that we're not familiar with this whatsoever. We're still learning. We're all still learning that.
We
Yeah.
give ourselves kudos because our parents didn't have any of this. And,
No tools.
and I think this is why we are better for ourselves because we will advocate. And I found that out in advocating for my father when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. It was a matter of trying to articulate things, and people are like, "Well, what do you know? What do you do?" He can't talk. We have to have someone who looks like us in those rooms because it just makes a difference, y'all.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I have two boys with autism, and
Mm-hmm.
my wife work with autistic kids. And so now all of a sudden I'm a part of this world that I had no idea.
Yeah.
And boom, it just happened. And so now there's things that I can pick up when it comes to autism and stuff like that, because now that's my world now. Now that I see
Yeah.
it in my kids and my wife, she have a trained eye for it. She's been doing it for years. But for it to be actually in your house, that's a different ball game. So I only can imagine just some of the things that people deal with and us taking those labels off. And like I said, I think it's starting to be, more acceptable where people are talking about it more. And we live in
Yeah. Less
a day and
taboo.
culture. Yeah, we live in a different time now. So I'm glad that's actually happening. But and that's a show within itself. Uh I do want to ask because I want to make sure I respect your time because we are running late.
Ooh.
Many women feel pressure to settle after 40. And what are your take on standards versus
Mm,
realistic expectations?
this pressure, I don't like it because it is so sexist. I
Mhm.
don't care what anyone says. No one tells a 45-year-old man, oh, well, you're thinking such and such. 45 for a woman is, it's death sentence. And I think the biggest thing for me was watching Waiting to Exhale in my 40s. And Savannah made this comment about, she may never be married, but she's at peace with that. And that was just one of those defining moments for me because a friend had once said, well, would you be okay with that? Like if you never got married and just to live like that? I'm like, what do you mean to live like that? I've lived. I have lived. And as long as that dash has experiences, love, support, I've I've done my part. If the worst thing you can say about me is that I've never been married, oh wow, we're doing something seriously right in my life. Because I'm thinking some of the things I could have escaped. It's not to say that everyone that I know has a bad marriage. I know people with great marriages, but I'm not going to be that bitter woman. That number one cannot be the bitter Black woman. So I think the pressure comes from society. If you can get that voice out of your head, it's like with the baby, you know, throw that clock out the window, throw
Yeah.
those voices out the window. If they're talking about you, my book now is let them have to get this out because
Oh,
this
the
book
Mel
is
Robbins.
changing
Oh,
my life. Changing my life.
absolutely.
If the worst thing you can say about me is that, well, I never had this or I've never had that, oh well, I'm doing fine. Let them. And then I'm gonna let me be happy because that's the most important thing. That's what's gonna define me. So I say
Yeah.
to the women 35 and up who are looking around like, where's my Prince Charming? Where's my happy family? Where are my family vacations? First of all, don't give up hope because as long as you're breathing, there's an opportunity for change.
I love it.
And hope is what gets us through tomorrow. If nothing else, you're going to have hope. And that's a wonderful thing to be married to as well, because what greater peace is there than knowing that you are full of life and purpose?
Yes. And I love that you said about the dash. I love that. If that dash
Absolutely.
was filled with love and hope and help, I love that. Because at the end,
Yeah.
marriage, yeah, it's cool and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's not the total, that's not the whole.
They can't define you.
Yeah, it can't define you. And I think sometimes we put marriage so high on a pedestal, and it's just like, no, it's like there's pros and cons to being single, there's pros and cons to being married. It's
Yeah.
just like it's up to you. And marriage isn't for everyone, and that's okay. Like you can still be successful, happy, and single, contrary to what people may say. There's some married people mad because they not single.
But why society, I think it maybe you can agree or not. Do you think that society puts more pressure on us women to say, hey, we're not fulfilled if we're not mothers or if we're not married versus men? Or am I wrong about that?
I think that narrative is starting to die where women, need to be. I think it's starting to die.
I
I
do
think
think
Okay.
that's transitioning a bit. I do think that.
yeah. I
But I
Okay.
think
do think that we also have self pressure. I
Mhm.
think sometimes when we say society, we probably need to do an exchange and say self pressure because we've taken on. So it's kind of like I tell people that,
Correct.
if I give you advice and you take it, it's now yours. This isn't
Hmm.
my advice no more. This is the information you consumed and executed. This is no longer about me. I think that sometimes we have to recognize that this pressure we have now received, it's no longer being given, it's received now. We own this pressure. We own this pressure, and now we have self pressure that's now, knocking on your inside saying you're not enough if you don't have, or you're not fulfilled if you don't experience, or whatever. There's self pressure too. But I do think that it's changing. I do think that, yes, men can have some of those, some of those pressures can exist for men too, because but I also believe that it's unfortunate that we painted the picture that everybody in the world has the ability to get married. We don't. Just because it's
Yeah.
time and space doesn't mean we all have the ability. But what I also think sucks is that people have, a lot of people talk about, well, marriage is not that big of a deal. For many people, it ain't the marriage, it's the partnership. It's
Yeah.
the fact that they don't want to do life alone. I'm one of those people, and I talk about that. I am a very happy person with myself, but I am not at my happiest place because I want a partner. I do want to be able to do life in close proximity with somebody that we can now have shared common interests or goals and build something together. And
Yeah.
I still think that that's a God problem. I don't think there's nothing wrong with my wiring. I think God wired me just the way I needed to be. And that's accepting that wiring by saying, I do want partnership. I've accepted my wiring. I want partnership. So that's what the difference is. Many
Zen,
people here,
baby, Zen.
you hear me? You hear me? So
Yes.
it's just like, a lot of people, little to do with dress. I've been married, but I'm not, this ain't about a dress. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't about the ring. This isn't about
Yeah.
everybody coming around. For me, it's about partnership. And I think I wanted to debunk that because sometimes when these conversations are being had with a lot of people, now, does a woman have a right to want to experience all the beauty that
Yes.
with that day, including
Okay.
if she did want the dress, if she wanted her hair done, if she wanted to be a beautiful presentation to her husband? Yeah, she got a right to want that, y'all. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, a lot of us, it's the aftermath. It's what happens after that that is really the greater desire. Is
Mhm.
after that, I get to have somebody, we get to go on vacation together. I get to have somebody that,
Cuddling.
yes, honey,
Yes.
cupcaking and
Yes.
whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Consistent
For
cupcaking,
pleasure.
Yeah,
consistent cupcaking.
that's
I want somebody to, I want to bring lunch to somebody or something. I don't know, Jesus.
I
I
want
want
someone to dump my ideas off on. Come here, baby. I got some fodder. Listen to it. I'm gonna write this up.
to, I'm out here trying to give a back rub or something. Jesus.
oh my God, this is so good. I want to ask this question. What advice would you give to a woman in her 40s re-entering the dating world after divorce or a long break?
Now, like in 2025?
25.
God, we don't have enough time for this. You said we were going over. Re-entering the dating world. Well, my first thing, use intuition. Use your power of discernment. Be true to your intuition. And I just stress that so much, Sean, because a lot of the women I see re-entering the dating pool after being married 13, 26 years, you know, they're not, I won't say that they're easy prey. I don't like to think of women in that manner,
Sure.
but there is this um
You can be an easy target. I don't care what y'all say. You could be an easy target, and people try to play on that. And I was a
yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I was definitely a sucker, honey.
Oh, I
'Cause
wasn't gonna use the
that's
sucker.
okay. I'll use it. I was a sucker. I told you I'm honest, Blair. I was a sucker, y'all. It was a whole license plate on my forehead that said sucker. Because what happens is we are so familiar with relationship. It was easy to
Yes.
find myself in those positions. So in the beginning of my dating, I was more sucker than not. I still had standards. I didn't just let any joker come around and think you could whatever. But I did let any joker kind of situation occur, man. And it was easy because, again, I met somebody. It was easy to just settle there because
Did
I
you
had
ignore
already
your
met it.
intuition though? Because
Yeah,
that's why I keep stressing
that's
it.
why I said sucker. But
Yeah.
he knew sucker. He was like, oh, she ain't go. By the time she noticed what's going on, you know what I mean? And I was married again, child. By the time I caught on to what was happening,
Oh
I
my
was married again.
God.
And then that marriage lasted 5 months because it really should have never happened.
So
I
did you so
understand.
Aquila, did you have the belt with like the light up that says sucker that kind of went across the belt? Did you have that one?
Like the WWE one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Number one, Sean, you know what? I can go 1, 2, 3, intuition, 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 but know yourself. Read these books and don't fall prey for the guy. There's a certain man out there who will say, yes, I have attachment issues. I know where my issues are. I'm working on them. Don't fall for the guy who's self-aware. Fall for the guy who's trying to self-prepare for a relationship with you. Because it doesn't matter how much self-aware he is. If he's not doing anything to proactively work on it, baby, he is a project. And you are not Bob the Builder. Okay?
I just feel like we can wrap it up right there because what she said was gold. Amen.
Ooh,
That was
that
it.
was
That
good.
was it
Yeah.
right there.
Because that's the number one issue with the women coming out of these long-term marriages and relationships. Yeah, you're not bodybuilder. He's not project. Don't take the Maybe no, it's not a challenge, baby. Walk away, trust your tuition, and read and listen to some of these relationship podcasts because they're good, aren't they?
They are. And you know, we get a bad rap though. People be, oh, these podcasters, we get a bad
I
rap.
just gave you a
We
shout
get a
out.
bad rap because of the crazy jokers out there telling people crazy stuff. That's why. That's why we're out here, y'all. So welcome to Scary to Remarry. Amen. This is a
Send them my
conversation
way. I
where
got
we are
that.
helping you become better. You got to know who your hosts are. We are in favor of love. We are not out here creating or causing dissension.
Yeah.
Telling our truths and the views and opinions expressed by us are us, but with a really good intention and a heart to help you no longer be scary to remarry, to make you aware, to help you prepare, to help you be intentional, to help you be able to talk to what it is that you actually want and not be out here contaminating, messing up other folks' life, as well as not allowing nobody to mess up yours. And what Auntie Tab say, and now if you can't have a good day, don't you dare go messing up nobody else's. You hear? So that's why we are here. Amen.
And we can close it on that. That's a whole word. Blair, this
Thank
has
you
been,
guys so much for having me. If there's any way I could ever come back, just let me know.
yes,
Girl,
you're just an
tomorrow.
inbox
No, I'm just
away.
kidding.
You're just an inbox away. Let everyone know how they can get in touch with you.
Hey, I am Blair Channing Rae. I write a girl 2.0 on Medium and Threads and Twitter. And yeah, I'm building essays for being social because there are a lot of characters on social media, and we all need to know about them, right? Okay. So I'm looking for that book sometime next year.
Okay.
Love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Aquila, how can everybody get in touch with you?
Y'all know where to find me. You're going to find me all the time.
Please look me up. Please look me up.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's no at this. You just talked about social media, and honey, when I tell you, I'm over here on YouTube, Scary to Remarry with this brother right here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'll find you.
That's where I'm at. But I mean, could you find where I was historically on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok? You can. But this
Yeah.
is where you're gonna find me landing at every week.
Okay, cool. I got you. Can't wait to share the show. Thank you.
Otherwise,
Have a good night.
send me your number. We can take it from there. You know what I mean?
For sure. Brave Hearts community, you heard it here. Make sure you connect with Blair. As you can see, she had gems to drop. Phenomenal episode. I have everything linked up in the description below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, share with a friend, share in your group chat, as I will always say. And if you are listening to this via podcast, make sure you leave a rating and review on Apple. By doing so, put you in a drawing for a free Amazon gift card. Who doesn't like free stuff? This is Sean Heineman with my co-hosts.
Aquila, aka Q.
And our special guest.
Blair Channing Rae. Good night, guys.
All right, Brave Hearts community. Take care.